hope you're doing well. I'm Daz Smith, and today I'm going to bring you a new project from the Hellfire Club. And as you can see, today's project is remote viewing the Havana Syndrome.
The BBC has learned that there has been a significant increase in reports of health incidents affecting US spies and diplomats in recent months. Originally known as Havana Syndrome, officials say the condition has now spread beyond Cuba to every continent.
In our Worldly today, in a rare interview, we're hearing from a CIA agent who was attacked, not with a gun or a poison, not by terrorists or a narco-criminal gang, but with a mysterious invisible weapon that terrorizes its victims with a lifetime of excruciating headaches. The attack, apparently used against American diplomats in Cuba as well, starting in late 2016, is thus now called Havana Syndrome. And
it is a mysterious illness that's affected US diplomats worldwide, attacking the nervous system, and in some cases forcing people into early retirement. It's called the Havana Syndrome, but what or who is behind it?
Mysterious sickness called the Havana Syndrome. It's affected a small group of American diplomats and spies overseas. And now, in a new report that just came out, just within the last maybe 90 minutes or so, you've got this panel of experts working for U.S. intel agencies saying that the most likely cause is microwave energy from some kind of external source. They don't really know what that source is.
So what is the Havana Syndrome? This is the target I gave to the remote viewers. Bear in mind they were all blind when they were doing this remote viewing, and all they had was the number 20097761. The hidden description behind this target was the Havana Syndrome calls all locations and experiences from 2016 to present day. I wanted the viewer to move to and then describe the collective calls at the Havana effect and the source of the effect, and only this. So what is the Havana Syndrome? The Havana Syndrome is an alleged set of medical symptoms with unknown causes experienced mostly abroad by US government officials and military personnel. It was first reported in 2016 by US and Canadian embassy staff in Havana, Cuba, hence the name. Beginning in 2017, even more people, including US intelligence and military personnel and their families, reported having these symptoms in other places such as China, India, Europe, and even Washington, D.C. So what are these symptoms? They include hearing loss, hearing sudden loud noises, pain in one or both ears, a feeling of pressure or vibrations in the head, tinnitus, visual problems, vertigo, nausea, cognitive difficulties, and effects that are pretty much like PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. Sufferers describe the initial noise as screeching, chirping, and clicking, and piercing, followed by a sensation of intense pressure or vibration. The side effects are physical, loss of movement, hearing, concentration, and many other effects. So what is the theory behind this? The most likely cause of Havana Syndrome is assumed to be some type of mechanical device that emits ultrasonic or microwave energy. The National Academies of Sciences, Engineering and the Medicine concluded in December 2020 that microwave energy, or specifically directed pulse RF energy, appears to be the most plausible mechanism. Who is behind this? The US intelligence services have not reached a consensus or a formal determination of the cause of the Havana Syndrome, though US and intel and government officials have expressed suspicions that the Russian military intelligence is responsible for this. Now you've seen all that and you know a bit about the background, let's go and see what the remote viewer saw on this, and I think you're going to be very surprised on how accurate the information is. Welcome guys, and thanks for coming along for this. We got 4 remote viewers here that worked this target as part of the Hellfire group, and as you can see here, the target that we're looking at today was the Havana Syndrome, and this is the target details. So it was 20097761. The target was the Havana Syndrome calls, all locations and experiences from 2016 to present day. So it's a really big target with quite a lot of people involved, quite a lot of worldwide locations as well. And the viewer is to move to and describe the collective cause of the Havana effect and the source of the effect only. Now, we have huge amounts of feedback on this target, and we'll post that with the target, with all these details online for people. But there's huge amounts of really interesting news broadcasts on this. This one's from the BBC. This one here is from CNN. This goes on for 4 minutes or so. And here's another really good one here from the New York Times. And essentially, the American government are saying that the cause of this is a microwave weapon. Let me see if I can find a bit more on the Havana thing here from Wikipedia. So the Havana Syndrome is an alleged set of medical symptoms with unknown causes that are experienced mostly abroad by US government officials and military personnel. The symptoms range in severity from pain and ringing in the ears to cognitive difficulties, and they were first reported in 2016 by the US and Canadian embassy staff in Havana, Cuba, hence the name. And there's loads more details here, so we'll post all this as well for people to have a look at. But yeah, the latest reports coming out this year are essentially saying at the moment that they feel it's some kind of microwave weapon, and they're blaming the cause on the Russians at the moment. Of course, none of this has been verified, and we will never get any verification on this from the Russians themselves. But it's going to be good to see what the viewers got on this. So each remote viewer here today is going to just go through their remote viewing sessions, only for about 5 or 10 minutes. And what we'll do as a group, we'll publish, as well as this video, we'll publish all the remote viewing, and I'll do a sample report and everything, a compilation report on our website, and people can look at all further information there. So yeah, thanks for coming, guys. Who should we start with? Well, Henny was here first, so should we start with Henny?
Can I share the presentation?
Yeah, you should be able to share a screen, yep.
Okay, share screen. I just make sure that I'm not missing out anything. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so I'm gonna be quick. I only have 11 slides. So at the beginning of the session, I started picking up on something air and energetics related. And quite from the first stray cat that I had after drawing my ideograms, I was picking up on weird sounds. The first impression was that I hear something like males chanting Om, this resonant feel. And I kept having the sound or acoustic effects coming back. It was always like a rotating sound. It was rumbly. It was giving out this static, buzzy feel. And I kept saying in the beginning of the session that there is an acoustic component that goes around and around, and it's weird, like a tumble dryer. So it had this like knocking, clicking, round static sound. As you can see, I hold on several times. Click, click, like a camera shutter. Click, click, repeating, rhythmic, oscillating, buzzy, vibrating. It kept coming out, and then I had a move command to further investigate the sound, what the sound is. So when I went and moved to the sound, I was getting the idea that it feels like some little things colliding to a barrier. It's a static-like sound to the human ear, and it feels like a particle shower, how you would hear the CME colliding to metallic plates, that sort of sound. It was really odd to be picking up that many sounds, because I usually am pretty deaf in remote viewing sessions. And then in my first session, I picked up on the concept of RI, or remote influencing. I had data indicating that it's some kind of remote influence, an energetic far-reaching thing, which is like driven by a person doing remote influencing. This biological here is directing or causing this influence on the environment. The purpose of it was sending packets of information, so I connected it like analytically to similar to the internet. Information transfer, which is trickling the chain reaction. So like domino effect, you send something and it trickles a chain reaction. I noted down that this is a far-reaching energy directed by the left hand. We can take it symbolically, or I don't know, it might not be symbolic. Then right after that I was going all technology, because that's what I do when I remote view. So I had a human with a smaller device, and I said it's like a device which is either measured. I had a sketch which says that it's like a projector or a gyroscope, it's spinning
Nice one.
rotate.
Sorry.
I kept drawing it. It is emitting, as you can see here, it's emitting sound waves, resonant, resonating, oscillating. It has this energetic wavy pattern effect. Yeah, I had more in my CRV sessions. I had more conceptual data with respect to it as well. I got it that it's installed. It is like a robotic arm railgun, something which is adjustable, can be positioned, and as you can see, it has like these tubes which are shooting out this really fast particle things. I kept having this AOL2 machine gun Kelly. I have no idea what it means, but it kept coming back several times. And also on the other side, you can see I'm showing it close up that there are like these tubes which are accelerating out these, I write it ionic, small motion energy. It looks like bullets shooting out from pipes, and they are directed linearly, and they are accelerating linearly. I have had even more data on that. It's also like small projectiles spraying down, beaming down, in tandem with like energetic frequencies. I had the ideas of bombardment, darting, aiming, pointing at something, accelerated projectile, and filamented tail. So it is all giving the idea. If you see the sketches, they always show an area projectile component. So my session indicates that these things are coming in the air or from the direction of the air. I got a strong sense that this is an R&D and experimental technology. I described it as it is applying alternative physics. It's technological but faulty from the conception. It's somewhat erratic. It is designed as a weapon or a vehicle. It is covert militaristic, potentially dangerous, works unpredictably, and has unforeseen consequences. And I also had ideas here, like it looks like covering the surface on several occasions. You will see that I had drawings later that indicated that satellites might be involved. And at this point, my best understanding of what the hell I'm watching or viewing, modifying the radar system or something. Here, I told you that I had these repeated ideas of what this technology might be or might do, whether it's sound, acoustic, or microwave. I had several drawings and sketches where water was lifting up and evaporating, so it's something that affects water, because I had this drawing several times, and these look like dishes. Here again, you can see that there is like this accelerator projectile thing, like a particle gun or photon gun, as I understand it, which gives out these like energetic spikes and these weird energetic speckled filamented things, which if I draw little squares in my sessions, in that setting, it usually means information, packets of information, so there is information in them. Also had data from COSAP. At the beginning, I thought this is the antagonist of our session, but when I probed him, it seemed like he was suffering from bad consequences. He looked really pale, almost like anemic. He felt in a sort of freeze response, like when you are frightened or something happens and you go into this like freeze. I thought that he's in this freeze response. He had like a vacant feel. He was short-circuited. That's the word that I wrote down, that he feels like he's short-circuited, frozen in shock and like staring emptily ahead. After that, I didn't really understand, but I had like what I described as a memory or a mental construct. So I could see that this guy is probably looking at a memory from an older time. It might be that somehow it's that the mental processes are somehow influenced by this thing. It might be that like he was, having this jumbled up mess in the head and having memories pop up. I don't know. I didn't want to go further into the bad consequences part because at that part I really a lot of uneasiness. So I was not diving into that aspect. This is what I had for that time.
Excellent work, Henny. It's very interesting because a lot of your data there does have military and weaponry kind of words and concepts to it, which is perfect for this target. And I like all the sketches and all the data as well about microwaves. I don't know huge about microwaves, but I think if I'm right in how they work is what they do is microwave waves, they interact with water within foods and whatever you're aiming it at, and the waves, I believe, shake the water molecules, and they shake it so fast that that's what creates the heat when you cook things and stuff. So yeah, I think the concepts there that you put across in the sketches and the data are pretty consistent with that kind of thing, and pretty consistent with what they think is the official thing going on here. So well done. Excellent. And thanks for showing us that. Who would like to go next then? Who was next up? I think
I just wanted to say that was an absolutely amazing session, and I'm blowing. I cannot believe it. It's amazing.
It's great
session.
data, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, great data. It's wow. Okay.
Who was next up earlier? I think who was next online? Was it Coral or was it Dimi?
Dimi, do you want to go next?
I can go next. I don't know if I will have so much to tell, but what the heck. So I'll share my screen and let's go there and share. So I don't know if you can see something on this one. I didn't prepare like a presentation.
That's okay.
Okay. So at my first session, I've had like balls of energy that felt fuzzy, energetic, black, tangled, moving, and natural also. So I don't know if it were natural or not. And they have like, this is not consistent with what we know about the microwave. They have a line sight. His is not a line sight, but we don't know for sure what was the aiming and where was the source. So I don't know for sure. I felt it was moving chaotic. It was burning when passes. I have now as weather transformation weather phenomenon. Again, this in a much closer looking, and it's great depression where it goes, and then I have an AI as not to be touched, nanoparticles materials, contains little particulated elements in moving, highly energetic, and then I have to go to my page 26 because I don't think it's anything here very interesting. Just a second. So here in 26 on my first session, I have much more closer to what I saw, like beams of black pointed energetic towards something and moving by itself and burning around. They're destroying, powerful, and they're coming from a hollow space underground, blasting all. And I have now as Sodom and Gomorrah. And then I'll go to the other session, and I have to stop share and go to the other session.
Okay. Yep. It's interesting that you got an AOL Sodom and Gomorrah, because some of the latest research on that event from the Bible is kind of indicating that that was some kind of very strange nuclear type.
Nuclear, yes, I know. That's why I think I've sensed it in that way. I don't know for sure, but yeah. Just a second for the second one, I think. Okay. Share screen. This one. Share. So from this, I have to go to the place where is coming that powerful, that energetics, and it felt like the three tubular things connected to each other, glowing, illuminating, and I thought it well. They have like rare minerals on them. There are fireworks types of sightings at my place. I have an AOL as wolfram and tungsten. I don't know if it's I was looking for but didn't find any interesting in that. I tried once more. Probably I've got here a hollow tube, but I thought it was something bad and I went back again. And then again I have something energetic which is transmitting in all direction, and it has something interfering with cell division, with DNA. And of course I've had a woo sound in my I have to go here again. I have an woo sound exactly like Henny. Just a second to put this down. I think it was I don't know. And also yes, a woo sound here. So pardon me if I'm too much trying. I felt this was something damaging, and I felt it was electric. And then I tried to draw what was there, and I thought it was a computer hardware, but I don't know. I was zooming and I found this hollow thing.
I'll tell you what that does look like. If you had to draw what happened inside of a microwave, it would be something like that, because that's why your microwave has the metal panels on all the sides, and then the energy banks is
oh, it might be, yes,
in between.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I felt it was hitting, burning smell, and then I found I went more in deep in the microscopic levels, or in a more ultra microscopic level, to see what's there. And I saw this kind of structure, and a crash, a power failure, a blackout, and then a dominoes falling principle I have as an AOL, and I don't think it's much more on this sequential cascading motion. I think it's pretty much what I have important in this. And that woo sound that Henny also had it, I had it on another session, but it's not important to go there just to say that. So that's me, and I will stop sharing my screen. Thank you.
Excellent, thanks. And again, you seem to have data that's corresponding with Henny so far as well.
Yeah, with the frequencies.
Yeah, and
definitely.
also you have something like domino effect, and I had this like trickling chain reaction.
Exactly.
So,
yes.
and your little dots with the tubes were like really similar to like what I had.
Amazing.
Excellent. Should we have Carl go next, and we'll leave Darby to last? We'll let the ladies go first, Darby.
No, I think you wanted to go last anyway. So I'm going to try out, bear with me, I'm going to try out my new technology, because I have papers. I've got them all on screen, but the scrolling is just, I'm sure I'll be quicker to explain with the paper. And I'm going to try out this new camera. There we go. Is it the right way, wrong way?
Is it the upside down?
It's upside down. Oh, it goes upside down on its own. There we go. Okay. So in my first session, I start going, I go to Antarctica to biologicals under snow, and then I start getting a tunnel. There's the tunnel. It's a whiteout. I do have an AOL of Russia. And I'm back here with the tunnel and the machines going on inside. And I have cellular rearrangement, which is probably what we're talking about. And then that's how big the tunnel is. That's the covering on top of it. And that's human size. That's the opening to it. So there's something going on that's hidden underground, most probably. And it contains very high-tech precious equipment, building wormholes and CERN. So there's something going through space. Look, gateway to the stars, tunnel, travel.
Coral,
yeah.
If I could just interrupt you a minute.
Yeah.
We can see all the text, but on our screen it's all, well, it's on mine anyway, it's reversed.
Mirror.
It's reversed?
Yeah, it's back to front.
Mirror. Maybe you have the settings of the camera settings mirror.
Okay, because I can. So how's that?
Perfect.
That's it, yes.
Is that right? Okay, I see that mirror. Oh, I beg your pardon.
That's okay, that's okay.
Oh, well, let me just go back. Sorry. There's the tunnel then. Human size, there's the opening and the structure.
Yeah.
It's an, if you, you'll be eaten if you go there. And it contains very high-tech precious equipment, and it's building wormholes, and my AOL is always CERN. So I go back, I'm looking inside at this place and what's going on. I'm trying to look at the technology. So I've got gills for them to breathe because I'm convinced it's a whole city underground. And that's where they are. Yeah, I'm fixed on that. So that was the first session. And then Daz said to me, go and describe the technology that I was talking about before. So I'm saying it's vibrating, it's ultraviolet but green, and it has unknown frequency fields. So something, not quite a microwave, but definitely a frequency. It's emitting, and I say it sends fibers rather than rays. So now I start trying to describe how this works. It's like a trough that's sending, and you can get your cells rearranged, and then you can change densities. It's coming from a great hall. So there's those are the colors that I end up seeing. And I've got this thing that follows me through all 3 sessions about ice. So it's something like the effect of dry ice. Now, I'm not technical enough to know what dry ice is composed of, but I know it's a very strange composition. And I say it's a hypothermia inducing, like a flash freeze, and a ketamine type of reset. I don't, it's like a mixture between like a drug-induced body reset and a salt chamber. So, and it can make you go into long sleep. It resets. So then I start on the frequencies and the way it travels. It manipulates time. It can travel at high speed. They're big, and then I have the same as you guys with the frequencies. So it's like toroidal fields and something coming out there, and these are the different, I'm trying to draw the energy fields. It's like a CAT scan machine. So it's like ultrasound, and I think it also has a positive usage because I'm drawing people going in a magnetic suit. So if you have a magnetic suit, you can probably not get sick from it. You go in like a CAT scan machine. Again, there's the person who's wired, they're radiating, and I said thought-controlled technology, electrical suits. It's like a metal jacket jumpsuit. That's what it does to you. And I'm trying to describe technology. It's a bit similar to your two drawings. It's flowing. So one thing is flowing down and the other thing is flowing around. And they're interwoven frequency waves. They go in different directions and densities. So it's not just one thing, which is a bit similar to Demi, who's got them crossing round, you know, so it's growing threads into organic. Also illness. It's like a large machine, and that's how it radiates. This kind of thing is like a firmament. It's thick, transparent, translucent, and cellular. It's a shower of radiation. So I couldn't, it was very difficult to understand this because it's way above me. I don't have those kind of technical things. So I was just it's organic and plasticky, as though it was inside a pyramid. So it's like frequency energy. And then I'm trying to draw the techno. Of course, this is absolutely not my competency at all.
Oh my God.
And this is a very strong very powerful magnetic field, and it's got holes in there to transmit. So I've got for cleaning waste atoms. It's large, it's huge, it's complicated, it's a very big strength. It would also be incomprehensible to an engineer, so I'm making myself feel better about my lack of mechanical engineering knowledge. So I really felt as though I was doorknobbing going into the technology. And I went back again another time. I felt a bit mortified. Maybe because, and I knew there was something else that I knew I was just focusing on one thing. So I went back to it again, and I came straight back to the technology. And I'm fixated again with this dry ice. You see, like a thick slab of dry ice. And I say the material is the key. So however it is they're working it, it's in the material. And will I carry on with this thread like greenish, metally, dry, icy? And I don't really think there's anything. It's alive, but it doesn't feel as though it's got emotions. It's a living artifact. It's floating in hyperspace. And I don't know what this is. Aurum Specie, abandoned spaceship. And there's another attempt at what's going on. This is the detail of that. So that is inside here. It's suspended, and it's a cryogenic experiment. So I'm very strong with this dry ice thing. I don't know, it might be the clue to the material. That's all I can really say about it. I have no idea. I still can't understand what it was about. I'm just saying what I felt. Definitely there was some kind of frequency thing going on for me.
Excellent. The data seems very consistent with all the other data so far as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
I just wanted to say that the magnetometer is one of the key factors of the devices they are using in this, so it's very consistent.
And I also had these like transparent
the dome
something,
yeah.
And I was like, when I was looking through the data, and I was like, okay, I don't know where that fits, so I'll just leave it out. But I had a sketch really similar to your last sketch. I think it was in my first session. I'm gonna show it to you, but yeah. So I was like, when I was looking at those videos, like, oh, I've seen that one somewhere.
Yeah. And the tunnel things. I mean, I went right down into the tunnel, but you both have been talking about tunnels. So
a lot of tunnels, but I didn't show them because I thought it was. Let me go to the main things. Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of tunnels.
So there's definitely something going on underground.
Well, I mean, if it is advanced technology, and it looks like it probably is, and a weapon, then it's going to be tested in a secret location somewhere, isn't it? So Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we know where they are.
Yeah. Excellent. Thanks for that, Carl. Again, great,
Thank you.
great stuff. You know, all 3 sessions so far, great stuff. Let's see what Darby's got to show.
My first session here, I had a visual ideogram that to me looks like a structure in a natural area, perhaps with some roads or streams, something like that. This is the first appearance of a shape in my second visual ideogram, which surfaced several times in session 1. Here is what I think is another version of it. And at some point, I started to think that I was looking at some type of drone. We have some sensory data here: static, electric zaps, hot, metal hard, machine clouds, man-made object. 2 similar visual pieces of data: glass break, rust, cool, hard metal, crystallized, emitting puffs, crusty salt, cool, rough, AOL barnacles, structure old, man-made structure. Here's that drone-like shape again. Crash, salt, cool, hard, multiple objects, clouds, man-made object. We have the shape here with AOL propeller, salt or soot, cold or cool, hard metallic, fishing, space. Here's the first time I declared my AOL of drone, and then a second visual graphic that appears to show some type of an energetic directed downward. I have AOL engine vent exhaust, hard life man-made object. Electric cool metal antenna air. Electric hot metal wrap structure. And we'll go now and explore in more in-depth structure 1. I have some type of a structure that it's emitting something. And at some point on this page, I thought we were looking at a structure that was underwater. Its purpose, I thought, was hard old play. Doesn't really tell us a whole lot. I thought that there might have been an inflatable object or something being retrieved. Structure 2, I had this image that looks a lot like our first visual ideogram of a structure in a natural area or with trees. It seemed like there were levels underground. The primary activity at the structure, I thought, was something related to examination or drilling. It seemed like there was military involved. I saw a person's head lying horizontally. Thought I was picking up metal tools or surgery of some type. Exploring the water gestalt. And I had a sense of some type of an object or objects that were flying. I thought that either it was metallic objects or perhaps a jet plane. Overall, I had the impression that it was almost like something you'd see at a parade, something that was inflatable. And I had this image, which I think was a metaphorical image, of men in uniform, kind of like the British uniform men you see guarding the palace, that kind of thing, and they were fussing over a dress. And my best guess was that it was something related to the military getting ready for some type of a performance. All right, so getting into session 2, Daz just asked me to take a look at some of the data I had already reported, getting more data about what I was calling an underwater structure, and more data about my flying man-made object, and more data about this concept of emissions or something being radioactive, which I was picking up related to what I was calling this underwater structure. Here's the first visual ideogram. Couple of others. And then I'm diving right into taking a look at the man-made flying object from my first session. I have an image of people standing around something that looks dome-shaped with an antenna. Actually, we do recall this similar image of this object in my first session. I'm getting running liquid metallic like a shipyard or dock. People in raincoats or ponchos, they're wet. Then I have this sense of something moving fast through the air and near perhaps a mountain or something like that. Metal, dong, sizzle, hot, guns, parade, weapons, viewing from car altitude, looking at it through binoculars. Life form operation, military officer, different ranks. Let's get this done. Dweebs, which I AOL'd as scientist. Circular, measured, patriotic, constructed in a lab. I'm getting more data about the man-made flying object. I get the purpose of this object is that it's actually, I'm getting the concept of debris, and I'm thinking it's to collect debris, or maybe it's in pieces currently. And then more data coming in of to fly, to search, to land, to button, to light up, to scintillate, to echo, possibly related to radar. There's a person involved. I don't know if he's inside the object or perhaps flying it remotely. There's a headquarter, like a home base, perhaps something like an underground facility. Feels like there's long hallways. Had this image of people in 3 different compartments and moving quickly, either for transportation or amusement. Here's an image that you'll see in Coral's data as well, and perhaps other viewers' data. It's a man-made object. I thought maybe it was for safety. It almost seemed like it was a cushion of some type as I'm looking at it right now, though I'm wondering if it's something that's admitting something here. And then there's an object that looks like a fan, or like the wings of a turkey or a peacock when it's fluffing its back tail feathers out. Looking at the underwater object again, I heard I know my client. I get the feeling of compartments and suffering. I'm guessing that this is like a vehicle wreck of some type. And then I'm getting a visual image that I thought maybe was debris from a shipwreck. That's another AOL. So I asked what the purpose of the underwater structure was. I got metal structure, hard, to provide physical support. I thought like a literal support beam. Got another visual object, or visual image after I asked for data regarding the underwater object's appearance in its original unblemished form. So I saw this image here, which is in its original unblemished form, solid like a support column. I'm asking for data related to my data from session 1 of emissions or / radioactive emissions. I have an image of what looks like a pipe going upwards, a volcano image, which I think might be a metaphor for emitting something. Coils, wires, gas, spongy, like a meltdown, I think. I asked what is, if anything, is being emitted. I have the concept of a broken transport structure, cloudy phosphorescent mixture, blue dye. There's this sort of image of the support column again from the last page, but it seems to be kind of falling over. I was feeling like I was getting tired at this point, and the data was starting to not come in as much as I wanted it to. So I switched to ERV, and I probably did this for 20 to 30 minutes or so and wrote down what I got. I had an image of a column or tower with 3 oval-shaped objects on it. It actually seemed to be in a natural area that looked beautiful. There was some blues and greens. I almost felt like for a moment I was looking at another planet or something. I saw some darker skinned humans. I got an AOL of South America. I had the concept or visual image of scientists sitting down and doing calculations. A group of people sitting around and eating and talking about a project they are working on. Saw something saw something that looked like a hot air balloon, and then another image that looked like a dress laid out, but it could also easily be a deflated balloon. So again, getting this inflatable object data from session 1, whether there's literally an inflatable object or something, it is what I thought I was looking at was something that was supposed to be high tech, but it really wasn't, and it was, you know, more like, you know, an inflatable object or balloon of some type. Then I had this image of what looked like an industrial structure with some type of an oval or oblong object in it. I heard someone talking about failed projects and saying that 2 people or projects have to be scapegoats so that other projects can continue unnoticed. Saw this image that looked like a dashboard of some type with wires coming out. And then my last bit of data from that ERV session was I felt like I was underwater and looking upwards towards a light that probably was the sun or something, some kind of sun looking like area of light.
I just want to make it known and quite clear that I am not looking to stir the pot with this. I'm just doing the remote viewing experiment and sharing my data. I'm not looking to bring anybody down. This is a weird one. This ties into a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, and I'm really, I was looking through some feedback. We got sent some feedback through a colleague in crypto viewing, and I don't think they realized we had worked this target. And they just coincidentally sent out this feedback all about this technology, and I'm going through my session going, yep, I had that. I feel really good about my session. This was a really good session for me.
Excellent, yeah.
I'll go through my session real quick. I forgot to share the screen. That would help, wouldn't it? Oh, I did this in September. Okay.
Wow, yeah, it goes so fast.
So right away, I had energy flow, Newtonian, explosive, robotics, and form, and I had these weird shapes. I think this was starting out to be a face here.
Okay.
And then I got like this, I don't know, mushroom cloud thing coming up out of the head. Very messy ideogram. And right away, it was like weird. I felt like, that's right. I did this ideogram, and I felt like if my paper was longer, it would have just gone on and on and on and on forever. It was just non-stop flow, and I've never had that experience before. I just wrote ongoing.
Which it probably is ongoing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I had this tied into life and motion and some kind of an event, lots of energetics. And then right away, I had a lot of heart energy just flowing outwards. It was relaxing, but also I had a draining component to it. My aesthetic impact was complicated, complex, but it's tied to a series of events. And then I had an event leading to change or transformation, which it does change these people. Bulky, pulpy, fibrous, penetrating, impactful. I think when I was getting fibrous, it reminded me of like Munchausen. Is that Munchausen's? No, what's the one? Morgellons disease with the little fibers appear in the skin. That's kind of what came through my mind.
Yeah,
I could have written that as an AOL. But it's important and significant. Shape of an octagon. It's hazardous, dangerous, or in danger, and a toxic chemical. And then here we go. Look at this. I'm proud of this session here. Pressure, power, connection, fissure, separation, and then you had the mind to mind right here. Yeah. And then right here, Montauk experiments, mind control or manipulation. And I did not
pretty much nailing the target right there, isn't it?
That's it. That's my mic drop moment right there. Yep. I don't get great sessions like this all the time, so I'm going to bask in this victory right here.
And you're only a couple of pages in, and you've nailed it already.
Yeah, I fell into this target here. This was an experimental field. Enhancements to the subjects, but the experimenter felt off to me. He's like, I was a life, and I looked at the experimenter. Had AOL of Gandhi, but that was just because of the glasses that I drew. But he was cold and uncaring. He was not kind. Some would call him cruel and inhumane. And I felt that he enjoyed the discomfort instilled in the test subjects. It wasn't about the science. It was more like he enjoyed the torture. And if you look at a lot of the old MK Ultra scientists that were doing these on the mental health patients, that's the impression you got from these guys. They almost enjoyed the torturous, like the electroshock treatments they were giving these people. A structure and a life. It was angular and rigid. There were triangular elements. It was hard and cool. And then again, 1950s to present is the time frame here. It was alienating. And then I had perverse in construction or design. And then looking at this event, it was open, cold, there was lots of open space, arid and dry. And then I heard someone saying, like, I like him, I can trust him. One to be enhanced. So it was like the selection process. I like this guy, I can trust him, let's enhance this guy. A choice or a selection made, the watchful eye. So I'm guessing maybe this is how they're targeting who they want to pick. Jeez, this is scary. Moving to the optimal position, the sketch and describe, right away I heard forbidden. Gateway, safeway, passageway, or like a dorm room. Now these were happening not at the embassy, right? This was happening at home where the
they don't
officers
really
were
know.
living.
I think it's probably happening in different locations, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
Some of it was in embassies and some of it was in like CIA buildings, but
Okay.
they don't really know.
Had ion radiation.
Yeah.
Curved, reflective, light-bearing, attractive. It pulls energy from the eyes and was draining. So I don't know what this is. I know there was some talk of maybe this is a portable device that's in a vehicle or something. I don't have a scale on size what this is. In some of the feedback I'm looking at, I don't think this is coming from a vehicle. I mean, this could be a satellite that I'm looking at for all we know.
Yeah. I mean, we know the Americans at the moment feel that the explanation from this is the Russians using some kind of microwave technology.
Yeah, and this would fit it.
Yeah.
I had something about a fundraiser. Like there was a public element to it, like a sideshow or demonstration. It felt almost like a cheap sales pitch. It was like, look, and the impression I was like, look what we can make, look what we can do, trying to get like to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
And again, I had this shape, this circular object with vertical structures. Was it a city or was it tech?
Looks like a satellite or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really could be a satellite. Describe the most important aspect of the target, that it's an experiment. Telescope, telescopic lens, or a microscope. Again, forbidden, unethical, a challenge, charlatan. I gotta look that word up again, but here you have somebody here. It's like their eyes were bulging out, stiff and rigid, pulsing sounds and rhythmic, and this is just this device again. Could be a satellite, could be something else. And I had music with a question mark. It made me feel uncomfortable. The sounds are designed to make you uncomfortable. An intentional stress placed on the body.
Yeah.
And that's the ELF weapons they talk about.
Yeah.
And I was getting a story, again, of the old mind control or archaic experiments on unwitting mental health patients. And I had to take a break because I really thought, like, all right, now I'm thinking MK Ultra and I'm on a tangent and I'm making stuff up. So I tried to break away from that for a minute.
Yeah.
And then I asked myself when I came back, what's the end goal here? And this was interesting. Movement, forward thinking, movement in time. And I think this is my consciousness moving forward in time.
Right.
I had this AOL or this angled structure here, brown and tan in color, lit up at night. It was like a prestigious demonstration or recognition. I had an AOL of Germany. What was interesting is in the feedback I looked at, they were talking about all the Nazi scientists, how we knew, like Operation Paperclip, they took them for like the nuclear bomb and all those experiments and the UFO stuff. But they never talked about the mind control stuff. He says, but chances are they took some German scientists. So I'm wondering if this was tied into that little piece of feedback that we saw.
Yeah.
But during this demonstration, people were clapping. It was like a black suit, black tie event. And they were raising money for some kind of fundraiser. Everybody wants one. And then here it is again, the Manchurian Candidate. And that was in the feedback we were watching also talking about that. And it scared me. And here's what was really sad to me. This life was still and stoic. They were motionless. They were on display, naked or partially dressed. They were very strong, very muscular, like a super soldier. Something about a failure here, but it was can strip away the mind, turn thought on and off like a light switch on command.
Yeah, very apt.
But deep down inside, he's still in there, undetected. The scientist does not know. There's immense sadness, yet an obedience to the programming because it's autonomic, not automatic, autonomic, without thinking. As if the conscious mind has been bypassed. The ability to override is not possible. Did they volunteer? Not for this. It's not what they signed up for. What's most important? It's the display, what's on display, or presentation of funds, the monetary gain, but also something about genetics and eugenics. Back to fibers and fibrous and fiber optics. It's the ability to see what he sees, to see through the brain of another. There's lots of clapping and a sales pitch again. What's the function? It's functional, assessment, measure or measurable. What are the results? It's results oriented. Someone's saying it's not going to happen. It's a failure on all parts. But something was still demonstrated or accomplished. So maybe they didn't reach their end goal. Something was accomplished. Then just looking at stage 5, it's alienating. It was strange, foreign, forbidden, uncomfortable, and then a zone. And then here it is again. Immense pressure on the mind. That's a head here with a body, and I've got this ray coming into the head. Hey, well, not good. And it was like, what did we do? Looking at the word experiment, forbidden, foreign, trustworthy, test subject, alliance, legal, compliant, complicit. They knew and they let it happen. And then a speaker, trial, and a hearing. Anything else? The space flyer, old, weird, sci-fi movie theater, what happened to them? It's a blemish in our history and historical. Tell their story. And I just wrote, I feel like I went off into a strange mind control experiment, AOL. That's kind of where we were.
It's a great session, isn't it? Because
I'm proud of that one.
Those people are suffering, and they're almost going through some kind of very strange PTSD kind of experiences. A lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of heavy stuff that they're dealing with on that.
Yeah. And it's still a little bit of a mystery. We don't have an absolute solution for it, but the evidence from all the documentaries that have come out over the last couple of years seems to indicate that it might be pulsed microwaves that are attacking the brain and the central nervous system.
It's really hard for me not to go down a conspiracy theory rabbit hole, just to tie in a lot of the stuff that I like to explore. But I would say that the elements are there of a lot of the deep, dark conspiracies on this one.
Yeah.
They're messing with people's minds. Are they reading? Are they writing? Are they doing both? Are they controlling? And where is it going? What's the
Absolutely.
point?
It's pretty shocking stuff to go into work one day and then have your mind messed up for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's a scary world.
And then to be honed in on these signals.
Yeah, very scary world. I wouldn't know what to say to the poor guys that this has happened to. It's shocking, really.
Yeah, and this goes back throughout history. People saying, the symptoms are similar to people who, back in the day, would say the government's got robots in my head, or the ELF weapons that people were claiming.
It's almost like people reported mental illnesses with schizophrenia and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
I met one woman when I was a police officer that had that, like the paranoid stuff, and was saying all the things. And I really tried to interview her because I knew a little bit back then, but I couldn't break through and even have a conversation with her. She was out of her mind. It's a shame.
But yeah, great session, dude. Well done on that one. Like everyone else
thanks.
on the team, it's pulled together some really interesting data that corresponds and paints a solid picture, which seems to follow the official lines so far. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what develops on it. Excellent. Yeah, we can see that screen okay?
Yes. Okay. This was quite an interesting session, Havana Syndrome.
Yes, strange target.
At the start, I got this like a biological steering or controlling something, which feels huge, global. I got this visual of planet Earth, but it's like a certain part on the planet, and there's something shiny. It reminded me of the ocean, but also of the human eye.
Interesting.
I had no idea what I was viewing. I got none of your business. Like, this was supposed to be a secret. It's not obvious, it's invisible. Soil home ground. Financial. I definitely got windy, like this is happening in the air somehow.
Okay.
Damp air. Almost like ocean air. And it's like a new invention field. It's man-made. It's got a very strong energetic aspect, and it had me feel like I can't breathe. It had a definite physical impact on me. Right at the start, I felt I need to protect myself physically. There is something very physically endangering about this, and I'm not sure if to do this target or how to protect myself.
Okay, yeah.
But it had me so curious, I had to investigate. And I got Russian. I'm not sure if I got a word, rendezvous, it's a strange language. I got not of Earth, but it's not like it's extraterrestrial. It's more like it's new terminology or something scientific, something other that's not known. And it really had me creeped out. It's had something animal about it, something, I don't know if it was the experimental aspect of it. It felt definitely manufactured, and it felt it had an imaginary aspect, like it impacts the mind, your ability to reason and think, your imagination. And it was like, I don't know, there was a part of whoever was doing this, I felt from their perspective also, they had this feeling of disgust. They weren't happy what they were working on humans. Like this disgusted them. They didn't like that. And I got like a pellet gun, like this. It got aimed at something or someone.
Right. Yeah.
And then I got confusion on a roll, like this is my signal or something telling me I am, certain things in my target's telling me I'm on target or I'm going off. I got something expressive. This definitely had something to do with consciousness. It affects people's ability to express. There was something colorful, something involving color about it. I'm not sure if it's color frequencies. It's an object you done full. Often I get in my sessions, I get conversations with context to what's going on. Look where you go, fly. Like, this is definitely happening in the air. It's like something that's moving in the air. Idea of flying, it's all very conceptual. Idea of turning out of the way, out of the path of this, what's aimed, this almost like a projectile, but it's not solid. Object en route in hollow air. And I got like an impact point. So this was pointed like a gun at a target. Idea of a crossfire or something aimed at. And something central. I got two round things with this impact point in the middle, and it almost, I got balls because it's round. Your conscious mind tells you the closest thing to what that might be.
Could be the brain though, couldn't it? You know, the left and right hemisphere. Yeah.
The two ears at the side of your head. And then I got, what is the time? Like, time is important. And somebody saying, you lucky dimwit, like somebody got missed. That he was very lucky to have missed this. And it is like there's a matter of professionalism involved. So this is not something unplanned. It's very, very specific, planned, personal, human specific, scientific. Collision, conflict. So there seems to be a conflict involved. Expressive, invasive. It's very physically invasive. Disappearing. It's like something is solid, but then it goes invisible. And it's like this person goes, where is it gone? I'm not going to be able to explain this, boss. It's like this mafia voice. What happened to this? Where it went? What it did? And then I got a strike at Men in Black, Death Angel. And then also there you are, like it's something that's invisible, but then it's got like, you can see its effect or where it is eventually. And I got an ideogram feeling very chaotic, like this is all one thing, it's not separate things, it's like a process. Like the target is purposefully confusing, affecting human perceptive tools. It works on the sensories for good or for war, and I clearly felt military. And ouch, my wrists hurt, like somebody was like keeping me from it, like something was restraining me.
Okay.
Wasn't supposed to tell, secrecy. Are involved or rulers ruling. Nausea is also something that tells me I'm on target. I don't know where I am. I feel confused. It's often when I view it, it's like from the person doing the action and then from the target or the receiver to who it is done. And this felt to me like I felt really confused. But this is the same thing, a different route, a repetitive pattern. I've got to find myself spatially in space, inner world aspected invasive, retrace the path, the steps, like this is difficult to trace. It's computed, electronic, it's incomplete, it's a process. Like this never finishes kind of thing, like sound traveling in the air, it goes on and on and on. Computer terminology, lingo. So there's definitely new terminology, not terra firma, so it's not on the ground. It's not interdimensional. It's not here, but it is from here. It's from, we made it somehow. I do not understand this. It feels so bodily physical. Spacemen working hard. It's like these men in NASA suits or space lab suits working. And then I get nausea again, idea of travel by using a reversed space. It's like they reverse something to do this in space. Like almost like a reflection, reflects back. It's like a reverse key. My session feels trashy. It's like suddenly, it's like nothing makes sense, nothing connects. Like this involves trash stuff, space rubble, like maybe particles in the air, something that's normally not important. And it's netted, it's got to do with a grid, catch net idea. It's like something in space gets caught and gets employed to it gets repurposed. Collecting projectiles, asteroidal, like small asteroids in the air. And I get I'm castle building, I'm building a story here, but I don't know that. Idea of building in space. So it's something that builds almost like the Browning effect, like dominoes, it's building, like intensity. To move to unknown information, new requirement. Is totally part of a designation. So it's purposefully confusing this target. The viewer using unusual terminologies. I'm using terms I'm not normally use in my normal way of speech. Also telling me I might be on target. Timing is important. Time is important. Measuring of time. It's like this is impeccable. Timing. Silvery downward. Confusion. One thing being two separate things. Solid, non-solid. Downward, solid. It's like gravity somehow affects this. Move to your first spatial impression. Where are you in relation to the target? I'm gripping onto something solid with both hands, making a twisting motion. All the time I got like this is almost like a radio.
Okay, yeah.
Like a radio mechanism.
Yep.
Turning a knob, controlling this somehow. That's what I got right in the start. Also, this person steering or turning, making this twisting motion. I'm looking at something curved and bulging, much bigger than me. This is elevated, extended above me. How do I feel where I am, about where I am at the target? I'm looking at this side of this round curved, inspecting. I get microscopes, so there's a microscopic effect to it, reminding me of human cells. Vehicle, it's something transported over distance. I am controlling something which can measure by making a rotative motion with my hands and looking. So it's something being observed while this is being done. Yep. And it's like a telescope, like looking far over distance, and it's military, and it's like going off the mark, like it's definitely aimed at something.
Yep.
I get red flickery in darkness. So there must be some way for people to, or whoever does this, to observe this bang bang sound involved, like the sound in a hollow tank, like banging on a hollow tank. It feels almost submarine or sub. It's not obvious. It's below observation. Idea of driving control of vehicle, of this whatever happens over distance, like a ship. And it's left-right motion to go forward. So it's definitely a progression. I get hairy behind, and that was something that totally didn't connect for me. Only thing I can think of that's hairy is a human head or an animal. I get algae, surprise. Algae is water, it's unlike that. And I get small dotted particles. And then I get like chest or desk height elevated in relation to the operator, to this person that's operating it. So it's like desk height, this whatever they're using, this mechanical machine, whatever, with it turning up. Human operated, distance operated, and I get like bomb squad in my bin. I get like animal, almost like horses running, but about horses running, what gets me about that is the sound, that galloping, noisy sound. It's almost like thunder. Caveman art, glittery, shimmery, wet, and then I get where did they get it those times? Different timeline than feels future. So it's like something ancient, but somehow it's applied to future. Moving backward to get forward concept. This feels more like the scientific aspect of things. Idea of a recipe for space travel or species enhancement. Sometimes I can't read my own handwriting.
Yeah, we've all been there. Yeah.
Handwriting going left, right. Strange. It's like, something is left, right. That also almost reminds me of marching in the military. Left, right. It was strange. Wiper blades, window wipers. Left, right. That reminds me of that knobby thing. Maybe it might be part of the machine.
Yes, yeah.
Planetary big size. Okay, so this is global impact. It's suspended, elevated in darkness. It's again on the hidden aspect, glowing a glow. China, artificial sun. So this is like I got Russia and I got China.
Yeah.
Moving towards this is huge. It bulges. It's like a mining idea, like something building. Pregnancy, forked at the top, river delta, shiny aspected idea of an eye ocular, encrypted, marked off in increments. Looked into, again, that like almost like a telescope idea, gravitational direction, that way, idea of upside down becoming sideways, so there's like a change of direction, and dripping. It's like biologicals, dripping somehow, sweating, transpiring, photosynthesis idea, like light is involved. But this is a process. It's like a measured thing, and the change happens, and then something is reversed, and then something ocular, and then it's a detour, and then it's like responses and haltings, idea of protocols of process. And like, this is something that will win a Nobel Prize. It's big.
Yes.
It's like a real new invention. Tracked sport, outer space, you move to the purpose of the target. I got scientific words there. I've got no clue what they mean. Oxytocin, crematosis, rhodosis. It's something new.
Yeah.
Nuclear, spiky, energetic, liquidizing, solid, phase changing, money, planetary, or again, global, and moon. Moon is very hormonal. Two biologicals, like the one doing this and the one on the other end.
Yep.
Big and small connect, star-struck, different direction. It's like a chain process, burning smells in darkness, looking into like an idea. It's like this, looking into something that's in the head or invisible. Idea of travel, traveling. Functional photosynthesis, red flagged idea, a location, military. Like this is aimed at a location. Bomb squad, like this is an attack. Idea of a response to a threat. Irresponsible. Like they didn't take necessary precautions. Hairy shape, red. Red is also always to me a sign of danger or blood. Energetic, flickering, electric. Supernova, cross consonants, reconnaissance, my words got mingled up there. Archaeoic, ghostbusters, like this is invisible. New ancient, it's like this happens here on the planet, it's global, and it's like this person throws his hands in the air for some reason, hiding in plain sight, and that makes somebody very joyous. Now, this had me totally feel off target because there were so many things that didn't connect for me. But then the retask, digging deeper. The target being purposely confusing, affecting human perceptible tools, working on the sensories for good or war, military, and possibly how it's being done. I immediately got put in like a location which is very rural, very isolated. It's like mountainous, and there was like this signal coming from this mountainous place, and I got directions. I got like a top view onto this, like I'm hovering above this, and I got built structures and a flag, and I got liquid like an ocean, and a road or a way to the like a bridge, and I got like a grid, and I got the idea of communication, which is invisible, cloaked, invasive. Bedroom space, it's very personal. It involves things like dreams, medical, perforated, upwards sweeping from land, which is mountainous. Idea of a map or legend at the top, outer space into mountainous, control, fusion, structure, like beaming synergistically something solid. It looks unrelated to one, but is altered. It's altering something, altering consciousness patterns. I get a bam bam slamming sound again, and like this involves emotion. I like something lifts and slams, altering vibration. Non-hadron collider fun, like this is almost like spontaneous in some way. Idea of animal ears or antennas are involved, using organic perceptive gear, hacking this as tool to a mission. It's almost like this machine enables whoever is operating it to hack the senses of any living being to use that for its own purposes, which could be nefarious. Idea of rogues energy basis sounds military. I get like a smoke signal idea. Identical sourced but differently reflected. It's like something starts at one thing but reflects different. It changes, like the outgoing and incoming signal is not equal. Idea of this being impossible. It's overridden somehow. It's illusion creating, it's altering reality concepts individually, it's purposeful, it's a warfare mechanism. It has solar sound, it has got light at the beginning turned into sound. Idea of a military base, and that is actually hit me because that is actually something that that has been done in the past, light being turned into sound, especially in the computing world. Idea of a military base, arranged ship container shapes, like a bomb magazine, military test field area. I grew up on a aerial test base, so I pretty much know what a military, and I've been in the military, so I pretty much know what those test sites look like. It's very isolated, it's desolate, it's like alerted idea. Siren signaled triggered responses. Computed distance operated manually by a human which is trained. It's got psychotic aspects. That's male involvement. It's uniformed, thin-faced. I got a person with description. I wrote Robert Bigelow. His face looked a lot like his. Maybe a certain ethnicity. Otherworldly aspected, insane, extrasensory, occupied, overrided. So it's like senses get overrided. And it's like, take cover, this is dangerous. Idea of a test, a subject taking cover, this testing system having got out of hand somehow. So I'm not sure if this whole thing was accidental, or if it was like a test gone wrong. I got mutiny, hide, like rules did not go as planned. Identifying a location, which is mountainous, oceanic, mountain liquid. Surprise, not land. What surprised me is this liquid was not like typical liquid. It was hard, almost like ice. It's got a Australian outback look, but it also reminded of the Mariana Trench. I don't know if it's the hiddenness about it. Deserty, bare, no vegetation, dry, gravelly. Not rocky, not sandy, it's cliffed. There's a gypsum look, not volcanic or sandstone. There's something red there. Well trampled or walked. That also reminded me of snow. Non-urban, in the middle of nowhere. No one knows where this exists here. Well-known desolate area, repurposed clandestinely. Off the map idea. Unmarked area. French dollar. Idea of a ship flag signaling. Red, green, vertical lines, yellow central symbol, new. It's like there was actually ships in the ocean at a distance from the target signaling somebody to do this.
Right.
Ship transport idea, strange water transport, lunar submarine, chimney, odd observation rolled. It's definitely an observation component over distance. Static, it just sits there. It's like something that people don't expect. Doing an observation job, just sitting there like an old building or an old tank. Russian waters, no one knows its purpose. It's battleship grade, it's tankerous, it's rusty, it's old, it's from previous war era looking, it's non-important looking. Military employed, imaginary dream, the mind aspect again. Man-made oceanic, adjacent to desert, deserty, west feeling, but is east. There's a definite east involvement here.
Yeah.
Idea of distorting compasses, scrambling signals, even their own signals. Idea of baseline signal operation exclusive to an operator. Deep water resonance, a whale of a time. It's like subconscious making jokes about what the target can be. A whale of a time telling me it's big and it's below. Employing sea life for operations, animals on land. It's again goes to that census of other things being employed or repurposed for their own reasons.
Yep.
As sensors to a covert central system, cheap labor, just hack it. It's like they hack the census of other things with us.
Yep.
And that really surprised me because that is so weird. Direction warped. Idea of overlaying known direction patterns. Idea of recoding perception. Analog junctures, re-employing synapses at variable sequences, frequencies, by turning a mechanical knob by something as simple as that.
Yeah.
Idea of operating humans by using a transistor radio, simplicity reinvented. So it's something really very simple that's being repurposed or reversed in some way, and this new technology emerged. Strike at Tesla, and I get numbers 1111, not 911. Like a new disaster which is global. Idea of a road bridge with one central access point. Solid, non-solid, solid, non-solid. It's again that change, mental, musical means. Like this is a plan disguised as recreation. It's teenager targeted. It's upcoming workforce targeted. It's like a new war in the air, but it's upcoming workforce targeted. It's like a new control measure.
Yep.
And it's like this totally flunked me. I'm just going, Jesus Christ, is this real? It's also unknown. It's cloaked. It's got I got like flashes of Reaper toga cloaks. Now that is one thing that I never get wrong, because whenever a person dies, I get this flash of the Reaper and it's real.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to make of this. Cloaked, wiry, technical, cellular, biological, vortexed neurologically. Idea of operating at hard space. It's like that rhythm, level, magnetic links to the compass idea, initiated overlays, transposed on realities. It's also very scientific. Misperception created. Head worn like this is in the head or on the head. Red beaded. It's like small and red. Iranian. It's definite Eastern connection.
Yep.
Terrorlet. It's like they're not sure what's going to happen. It's like a lot is still to be discovered. Not Russian roulette, terror roulette. I don't know what that means. idea of screwing with symbolism and frameworks of reference, funny money. So it's like this is totally offhand. Cryptos, a walk in the park. 1 minute late is overlay. It's like timing. If it's not on time, like this changes everything. That's why time is impeccable with this idea of time streams or loops created by sensory overlay. Normal discharge, uncharged, like charge is important. Affecting human internal voltage frames, the fire element of everything working inside the human physicality.
Yep.
Grassy photosynthesis turned to sound. It's getting light to sound. Already done science. It's nothing new. It's under the sun, solar. Bye humans, tin brain. And then I got to my summary, and it's like everything. It's like my whole head just floored, like on this target. And it's like sensory overload, and everything just crashes, and I get nothing. It's like a total blackout. And that was the first time ever I wrote a report like this. 3 lines.
It's a very strange target, isn't it? And the data is very, very on target for the effects that these poor people are affecting, almost like PTSD, psychological damage.
It's really concerning. I mean, this is not normal.
And the evidence at the moment from the Americans is pointing towards the Russians using some kind of microwave technology on them. So, that's reflected in all your data, isn't it? And you even have what looks like it might be bases that are doing this, military bases, but also some kind of object in space.
Yeah.
Maybe a satellite or something, like a telescope or a weapon in space or something. Yeah.
Yes, and like it's moving outward to other countries like China and Iran. It's not only stuck to Russia anymore. It's like this.
Now that would be scary, wouldn't it, for other countries to be able to affect people's brains like this? It will. Yeah. But great data there, Anita.
Thank you. It's a really interesting target.
I'm sorry it was a bit psychological. It wasn't very nice to experience. But you got some amazing data on it for us.
And I must say, I got quite some headaches afterwards, and only when I got the feedback and I went, wow, and I did a detox and everything just disappeared, I realized this was the flippant target all the time. So detoxing is very important, people.
That's great. And again, thank you for sharing all this with us.
Peace and love, y'all. This is Naeem. Going to go through some of my data for a recent target that I work for the Hellfire Remote Viewing Club. The target ended up being the Havana Syndrome phenomenon that's been occurring. So the target number was 20097761. Visual ideograms, my low-level data. I did have probes of artificial and man-made, shifting, something in the air. I had a structure in the air, some kind of electric energy, almost like a burning sensation with that. I saw something that looked like a disc or a saucer. I put glowing lights. I put looks UFO-ish. Again, something in the air, kind of like a low rumble. Something hits the ground. I even had life with blood, sense of life in gravel. A texture of magnetite, even some strange type of metals or something like that. One of my Playfair cells, I saw a body trapped or buried in some rubble. I also saw 2 men carrying a body on a carrying someone on a stretcher. And that was my first session. My second session, early impression I saw life. Excuse me. I saw life holding somebody. Looking at that again, here again, I see a long, narrow hallway. This felt like top secret. Muffled voices. It felt like a rehabilitation. I see two people in like coveralls, medical type coveralls, rushing down a hallway, carrying someone on a stretcher or a gurney. And the sense I get here is like these are like top surgeons, and they maybe even had to like make an incision. Someone's in critical condition, and they're trying to like save them. Here's where, you know, maybe I went off target, or, you know, it is what it is. I got what I got. Looking at the stretcher or the gurney, I see something humanoid. But then I also see something that looks like tentacles or octopus tentacles or something. Looking at the energy, I had an electrical energy sense. This looked like some kind of coil, like a pillar with a coil wrapped around it. It felt like this is in a small enclosed space, and for some reason it's getting burnt or sizzled. I feel like there's a power surge or something, maybe even connected to a mainframe, some kind of technology, and I get like a sizzling and a burning sensation associated with that. Also, I see small coffins stacked up, and you know, the impression I get there is these are hidden and no one knows about these, like bodies in small coffins, small like fetuses, restricted. So, you know, I don't know if or how that ties into this target, but you know, that was the data I got on this one. Hopefully that was interesting. Thanks for having me as a part of this, Daz. One love, y'all.
So there's the information from the remote viewers. What do you think? Personally, I think as project manager on this project, that they hit the target amazingly. They described in amazing detail all the very strange sound mechanisms that's going on here, the interaction with the sound with the life forms present at the target, and in a couple cases on some of the remote viewers, they even mentioned the origin of this by mentioning Russian or Russian waters or a Russia feeling to this as well. On top of that, they all seem to describe some kind of device which looks a little bit like some kind of lens type system or something, you know, very circular, probably like a satellite or something like, you know, some kind of beaming kind of radar type kind of device. Have a look at the information. Leave any comments down below on what you think about this. I think they did an amazing job. And that's pretty much it from us on the Hellfire Club on this one. Take care and we'll see you next time.